Slam.
Support life and music.
Hey, how'd all those people get in here? In this Slam Music Survival Guide, we've got two of the world's top media strategists and thinkers. We've got Ariel Hyatt of CyberPR and Megan Matousek of Loco Plus. And I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Sheila Unwin. Quote from this episode: "They all have their own beautiful art and skill, and they're not getting seen because of the algorithms." Keep listening to hear what it's all about. You don't have to watch Dynasty to have an attitude. What's up, everyone? Jack Mangan here from Support Life and Music. You know me from around a couple other places. I've been a board member at the Metal Hall of Fame, involved with a whole bunch of other music stuff, but it's not about me today. I definitely want to say, we've had some really impressive music stars on Support Life and Music on the Slam Music Survival Guides in the past, but this is a high-powered meeting here today. Like, I'm thrilled to bring these people together. So there's no way I could do introductions really to do them justice, but I'll do my best. So I'll start with my colleague and longtime friend, Dr. Sheila Unwin, who you know her through Support Life and Music, but she's also been around podcasting really since the beginning. Sheila, it's great talking to you again.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. And then we've got, let me see let me check my notes. So, there's someone with an IMDb page. I'm impressed right away. I don't have an IMDb page, but he's had an incredible career in film and including work on Star Wars films and Coraline, and also, but has an amazing new project, has a bunch of projects, but specifically one we're most excited about is Loco Plus. So Megan Matousek, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And then based out of New York, just one of the absolute superstars of PR from CyberPR. She's an author and a true guru and one of the real experts in this world. I hold her in esteem, like, with people like Heidi Robinson Fitzgerald, Muncie Ricci, I hold her in that esteem at least. So Ariel Hyatt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being on. Well, let's start out. I know we're short on time, but I definitely still want to start out with a quick icebreaker. So give us the one musician, the one artist who just the world needs the most, like who you need more than anyone. Like who's your go-to artists in times of need? I guess Ariel, you're on my screen. I'll ask you first.
I think any artist that has the balls and the gall to be creating music right now in today's insane world and putting it out there. I mean, my heroes tend to change every day depending on who I'm working with. And then, the algorithms will once in a while feed you some delightful surprise, which I'm finding more and more Gen Z young women who are creating just incredible music that you want to strut down the street to. So I don't want to name names, but I think it's all about a feeling, and it's all about, right now we're creating, no matter what, we're creating, understanding that there might not be a payday at the end of the creation, but yet we're creating anyway. And I think that means so much for art.
Yeah, perfectly said. All right, I guess between Sheila and Megan, I don't know, whoever wants to follow that up.
Go ahead, Megan.
Oh, thanks. All right, I agree, Ariel. Anyone's doing anything that's authentic or themselves right now is like 5 stars in my book. But I will reveal my age and my demographic. I am a Taylor Swift fan. I just am. And I'm a millennial through and through. It's just what it is. And I love her too because she is, yes, the top of the top of the top, but she also is authentically herself. And I think it's the beauty that she's finally gotten to is to be on her own ownership. She's able to slide into theaters and have her own showings. Like, we'd all love that. But I think it shows to the power of ownership. And I love that about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, she is such a superpower, and she's a huge deal in our house here, by the way, too. All right, Sheila, what have you got?
All right, so I've got a wide mix. So I grew up listening to the radio and whatever, I'm showing my age. Whatever was on the radio is what you knew. So, I'm of the age of, Rick Springfield was it and everything. And so I still go see him and Pat Benatar and all of them. But I really love ska. And so I love the Pixies and Say Ferris and all of them. And they just I think their lyrics say a lot about who they are and where we are and what we need. And so that's where I am with things. So how about you, Jack?
Oh, we don't have time for my answers. I'm such a music nerd.
Short and concise.
All right, I'll show what a nerd I am. I mean, I always say Pink Floyd has got to be my go-to. They kind of tick every box. I absolutely love Pink Floyd. But yeah, as far as modern, I was thinking of Arlo Parks for like she might even be Gen Z. She's so young, but she had this song that absolutely, completely like mesmerized me. I think the song is called Impurity. So there you go. Go check it out. I'm not associated with her. I'm not going to make any pennies off of her clicks if you listen to it. But yeah. But yeah, Pink Floyd that's my default answer. All right. Well, actually, Sheila, why don't you take the first question, please?
Sure. So Ariel, this book that you wrote, from Buzz to Bond, I want to talk about that a little bit more. And so I know we live in a hyper-focused world on being the next viral sensation. And the initial feelings that go along with that viral boom are great. But how do you propose that bands take a step back from that mindset and start seek it so that they're not just seeking that next viral moment?
I had a client who's one of my childhood heroes who I'm now actually so privileged to be representing. And I should have mentioned him in the lineup, but I will now, Rennie Lopez. And Rennie is someone that I used to watch when I was in college. Like he was he still is, but one of the most dynamic and sexy performers I've ever seen. And Jack, funny you quoted Prince at the top of this call because he used to do a lot of Prince covers and whatever. Anyway, amazing. And we were on a call the other day and he said to me, I now get the dopamine hit from my Instagram numbers that I used to get from standing on stage. And I think that summarizes the problem.
Mhm.
And the problem is we are 10 years into social media being like normal and something that we use consistently throughout every single day. And we've taken our eyes off of what really can matter for creators. And so every artist I talk to, not every, but like 90% come to me and they've invested a lot of money in Spotify plays, a lot of money in meta ads, a lot of money in YouTube, a lot of money in all these platforms that they don't own, that they're making, as Jack just said, pennies or less from being exposed there. And they are feeling more lonely, more desperate, more disconnected, and less like people just can't even hear and are not hearing their music. And so Buzz to Bond is the antidote to that. It's my call to arms to say, hey, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, millions, these are not normal numbers. If you had 500 or 1,000 people that really loved you and were along for your ride, what would your life look like? And then how can we, as artists, create something that really resonates? How can you start a movement, even if it's only 20 people in your dining room listening to your album? Like, it doesn't have to be that you're Taylor Swift. It can be that you're affecting a small group of people for change. And that is what the book is about. It's a mindset book. It's really asking artists to think about community first and dopamine and algorithms second.
Nice. So years and years ago, Weezer was out and I liked them. And I was at a festival with a lot of different bands and they came on and not only so River, the lead singer, not only did he play with the fans, you know, up on stage, but he actually came out like say the stage is like this, he came out and went all the way around. Like he made sure to connect with it, what felt like everyone. And again, I liked them before. I will hands down see them anytime they're in town. And especially knowing from what I understand, River isn't a outgoing person. Like he's really an introvert. And so for him to put himself out there was really fascinating to me. So my question is, what bands have created that special bond that you really see? And how do you think they went about doing that?
There's no stock answer for this. You know, every
Right.
artist has to do their journey the way that resonates with them.
Mhm.
And what's been really fun and interesting is helping artists through the process of like, okay, like, how are you going to connect? Some artists come to me, they don't really have a fan base at all. Some come to me, they already have a huge fan base and they're trying to organize it. And then there's everything in between. Um, I was on a call with a band from Texas this morning, and they were talking about their winning formula, which is like they get out in the audience just like River from Weezer, and they hang out at the merch table, and they have a private, it's a private Facebook group. I'm going to get them off Facebook. They can do that somewhere else without supporting that. That's another conversation. But
Yeah.
the point is they've created a fan sanctuary where they have 1,000 fans that are like chatting about
Wow.
their band and how much they love them there. And they've started like a movement, and they've never really left Texas. They just play regionally.
Wow.
And they play mostly Eagles covers. They're an Eagles cover band, and yet all of these people come to their shows. They're deeply inspired by them, and they've created like a mini movement where everybody feels like they know the band. They're like the one band that they actually know. So I think it's a journey like that that I think is a brilliant thing for artists to create, and it's something that we all want to participate in.
Right.
Yeah,
Very
no, I love
nice.
it. And actually, so now one of the reasons why I wanted to have Ariel and Megan on together is because both of, the things you say in the book, Ariel, are things that Megan said to me directly when we met a few months ago. So Megan, I want to kind of turn it over to you about the perils of that hunt for virality that people seem to think is the brass ring when it's really not. So Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, the way I like to think about it is like it's virality versus intentionality, right? And so I think it's exactly what Ariel's talking about is if you're intentional about how you show up in the world with your fans, and you don't have to own the internet and millions of people, you actually just need 1,000 fans, which is what I believe and what our platform is all about. Is we're building systems and models and tech where it puts the creator in the center of the protocol, right? Which we all need to be. You need to be in ownership, and you really just need 1,000 fans to pay you $100 a year. I mean, really, a lot of these creators are like, they are incredible, right? From music artists to content, they're all have their own beautiful like art and skill, and they're getting not seen because of the algorithms, because of these things. And so it is a mindset shift. It is learning that your value is just as important to one person as it is to a million. And I think that's where you can make a lot of money. And my background is in film. So like Jack said, I mostly sat in between like production and then the business of production, the business of content. And so I sat in franchise at Star Wars and Indiana Jones and was able to see how content really is the driver of like the box office and where it goes, but everything surrounding the content is actually, for Star Wars especially, makes more money. And so that's my whole ethos is around, yes, it's Star Wars, it's the big guys, but if we start to think of ourselves, all of us as entrepreneurs, as creators, and we build ecosystems just like a mini Disney, you actually can leverage different revenue streams, right? Like from merchandise and live events, like you were talking about. People liked people. We still are human. I think there's a premium to that, but it's a matter of having to shift that, and it really is, most artists have a really hard time, and Ariel, I'd wonder what you have to say too, is the artist has a hard time being a business person. It's just, it's right. And so like, that's what we deserve. We want to help the independents. We need to help them with their business. They are great at their creative. And so what do those systems look like? And that doesn't mean take it either. That doesn't mean take the revenue that they've worked so hard to earn. So I think for me, it's really studying the big systems that I have been part of all of my career and being able to undo that, the antidote, right? What is the systems, the ecosystems, the infrastructure, and the technology that allows this to happen, which means the creator is in the center of the protocol, no longer the platform or the advertiser or the studio.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Please go on, Ariel. I think.
No, it's like, I think Kevin Kelly wrote 1,000 True Fans. It's almost 20 years ago now. It's like so hard to believe. Like,
and pick that up. It's like,
you know, the first time it came out, I mean, I read Wired magazine. I was like, I had chills. There was hair standing up on the back of my neck. It was like someone finally like put in words, like, this is how artists that were sustaining in the worlds I was already working in, this is what they were already doing, you know. So it's none of this has changed, right? And then there's this like crazy conversation around super fans, and we're all talking about super fans now, and it's like, okay, well, just because Sir Lucian Grange decided super fans was the hot word this year, super fans have been around as long as music has been around. Because if you didn't have super fans, you don't have music. There's like no one to connect to it. And so I'm always fighting artists. They fight themselves on like how do you be a business person? And it is hard to connect the left and the right side of your brain. But then there's this giant distractor in the middle of it, which is called social media. And it's impairing our mental health. It's impairing how we love our neighbors. It's impairing everything. It's not good. And so I think anything that helps artists try to have a think about a mindset shift and any kind of tool that's helpful that they can grasp without freaking out is great too. You know?
Yeah. I love it. And actually, I have so much to say, but I'm going to reel it in. I want to hear from you all. So, Megan, I don't know if this is the time to jump in and talk a little bit more about the vision for Loco Plus and how that intersects with what everything Ariel's talking about.
Yeah, so Loco Plus we're calling it a marketplace platform. So for the independent creator to own, distribute, and monetize their content and everything around their content. We say content, but we have music artists that have videos that just have audio. We've got podcasters and comedians, all of the group that needs the Disney and the Netflix infrastructure and the label infrastructure, right? They need the tools. They need to be able to easily monetize, take payments, instant payments. Like all of that is like, it really comes down to the infrastructure of how you build the platform. So we have been committed. We've been in the marketplace for a couple of years, but just on a very startup. We are just now launching our second version of our platform this January that will have all these bells and whistles. But the key to Loco Plus, and I think Ariel, you'll probably love this too, is, and this is like really personal, is I believe that we're missing this local part. Like we need to reinvent local. And so the thing is with artists, any type, right? Like we all live somewhere and I love my artists in my area. I don't know how to find them for when they have small shows. There's not like aggregators for that. How do I travel to the new city to find out who's hopping, who has pop-ups, you know, like who's having a screening, right? Like there is like no aggregator for local either. So the way we see like that rise to 1,000 is like, just get 1,000 people in your area that want to support you. And there's data that's there that there's 3 times like a Patreon will spend on local. It's like why you go to the local basketball game and willing to spend the $80 on the sweatshirt, right? Like you're like, I'm supporting local. There is something too about like even spending. So instead of trying to beat the algorithm and get like your 500,000 views that gives you $30 checks, you can like just do that. You can make $30 like by one person.
Right.
Right. And so but the ecosystem's not quite there because everyone has to figure out how to pay the advertisers. So that's for another day, how we're not using advertising, but we are not an advertising model. We are not an algorithm model. We are a software for a service-based platform that just rents tools on a monthly basis or annual basis. You use our tools to make money. So that is like really the ecosystem that we need just from a distribution and finance side, but then there's the whole marketing and PR side, which is not as easily done with technology. You still need people and investment, like you said, you still have to get out there. So that is also kind of the next approach is local is where we're going to market and advertise and help our creators and showcase them and let them be the brand and let the rest follow.
You keep on slamming because it's a matter of life and death. And by doing this, you are saving so many lives.
So having something like Slam to be that kind of a resource.
Hi, I'm Vern Seabell here with Slam with Jack Mangan.
There's a great organization out there. It's called Support Life and Music.
Slam! Da 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 da.
Slam, Support Life and Music. I'm my friend Jack Mangan.
When you told me what you were doing, I was really on board with it, and I really want to support it because it's close to my heart.
Please support Slam because everybody needs a hand up every once in a while, and this organization is the right one to do the job.
I think what you're doing is great with your organization and trying to address it.
Slam, Support Life and Music.
Everybody, David Olson here, and you should support Slam.
I love this. A quick question. So I think of the music industry and publishing and different things like that. There always seems to be gatekeepers who control what we hear, what bands, we hear on the radio or are being published, whatever. And I think it's the same for all creative outlets. There's always somebody holding people back. And it seems like Loco Plus is letting things happen it's all up to the creator. And I love that. Can you talk about how the concept came together?
Yeah, I mean, really, I know I keep saying Star Wars, but this is truly like why. I mean, I worked for George Lucas. I got to be the last era of like George Lucas, and George Lucas was the innovator of ownership and IP, and like he knew Star Wars was going to be great when no one else thought it was, and he negotiated the rights early on with Fox, and that's why it went all the way with his ownership. We had all the sign-offs at Lucasfilm. No one told us what to do creatively. I mean, it's like, and no studio usually has that distribution deal. It's usually there's someone else involved in those. And it wasn't because George did that from the beginning, knew it was very important. That's why you have the toys. That's why you have the franchise. All of that came alongside ownership. And then when Disney came over, right? That's then now goes into the big machine, and you can argue if you like it or not. I have opinions from fanboys on both sides. But that's where I think I learned that from. That is very much inspired from understanding the importance of ownership, IP, and like looking at any creative project, like whether it's a podcast or a film, or looking at it more with the lens of what else can I market and sell that's around my IP instead of just the one project. And that's, to me, sustainability. And that's what George knew too. Like if you can keep the churn going with all these things, then you make the next one. And I think most of us artists, we want to make the next one. That's the goal, right? Not a hobbyist. We want to make a living around this.
Yeah. Are you also helping with the platform, helping to teach them the entrepreneurial side of things? So like contracts and things like that, because I know a lot about education and leadership and things like that. I don't want to look at a contract because it just all goes in my head and the words all flow together. So I'm assuming it's the same way with a musician. So is there help for them to see that, the financial side of things, or, bookkeepers and that kind of stuff? So
Absolutely. It's actually during our, like, when we were building this summer, we've had a group of, we call them our golden circle creators, who are like telling us what to build. That kept coming up over and over. Like, okay, great. I can plan these. We can do all these modules and plans. If I sell this much tickets and have a paywall, like we can build all that. They're like, I need that. I need to be able to, like, what's an expense sheet? If you ask them if what's your in and out, what do you get put in, like, in when money coming in, and what do you put it out to, like, make this thing happen? They don't have the answer. So yeah, I think all of that's super important. And then the other part too is where I think AI and blockchain can come in for the good part, the good side that we all should. So we're definitely built in both of those. AI comes in really handy for contracts. Actually, have a partner we're looking to work with that's all they do. So it's just like a quick, is this red, yellow, green? And then you can decide if you take it to a lawyer from there, right? Like debate, like on your first pass. I think that's important. And then, I think just in general, like QuickBooks, like for the entrepreneurial creator, like I think just all of that is just understanding where you're at. And then the big thing I think was where all of the platforms, don't do this because this is their model, is they don't share the data, right? They're not going to share how many views Netflix has because that is their secret sauce. But that's why, because it's your secret sauce. It makes you money. So hey, all the data, we're going to get as much as we can. All of it's yours. You get to keep all of your contacts for your fans. You'll know who's spending what, where, how, all of that. So you can make decisions on your business, just like the rest of the big guys do.
perfect. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And now, Ariel, I'll turn to you. I know that having been in the music industry for a while, I've seen it too. Like a lot of it's a very common story where artists talk about, we didn't make any money because we signed a terrible contract. We were 19, we were drunk at the time. It's like I had somebody who literally said they signed their contract at 5 a.m. after the night of a show, and they said that it screwed them for decades. So I mean, what's been your experience? And by the way, I'm being conscious of time. We'll try to wrap up soon. But Ariel, I don't know if you had a response to that from what you've seen on that side of it.
I mean, I think now artists are offered deals so infrequently, but the deals that we do see now, most of them are predicated on the fact that the artist figured out how to go viral on TikTok, and TikTok is the new A&R man. And so the thinking is, if this artist has millions and millions and millions of likes and follows on this platform and their music takes off, they therefore should be sustainable in the real world, which there were a lot of TikTok signings during the pandemic, and I think only about 5% of those signings ended up sticking as viable artists. And so I shudder when I think about, like, this is our new reality, and there's very few deals left that were the deals that certainly Sheila and likely Megan remember, where there was an artist that was signed because they were just so good and everybody was willing to invest and get behind them. And I mean, Megan, as someone who's an expert in the film business, you probably know, like, I mean,
the same day, the early days when they would just like buy whatever because they just wanted the new person, right? The new Spielberg.
And then they would nurture them. They would nurture them, and they would
invest.
pay for their apartment. And like they knew that this person was going to come up with something brilliant if they just had some support. That is so not how it works now. And it's really rare that artists get any kind of artist develop. I mean, A&R, that's not even a thing. Like artist develop, there's no artist development at labels anymore. It's literally algorithm studiers. They're all studying to see what's going to be hot. They know what's going to be hot before we do because they have predictive algorithms. It's terrifying. So I sadly don't see a lot of artists that are like, oh, wow, I got really screwed in that record deal, because there is no record deal. And what I do see now is artists looking for support. I mean, looking for booking agencies, looking for management teams, looking for publicists that aren't snakes in the grass, looking for like anyone to get behind them. And, adapting to this new world is really, really overwhelming and complicated, especially for older artists, like elder millennials and Gen X. Like, they have a different relationship to records and to media and to the way things used to get consumed. And so it's really hard. I mean, I have to explain to people above the age of 45 almost on a daily basis, like, well, album reviews aren't a thing anymore. Like, nobody, that's not a thing. And they're shocked. They're like, but wait, but you're a publicist. Isn't that what you're getting? And I'm like, oh my God, no, that is totally not what we're getting. So it's an education for everyone. And it is, I often lose sleep worried about artists just not getting enough support and then having to continue being their own everything. Everything. You've got to figure out how to record. You have to figure out how to distribute. You have to figure out how to market and promote and do all the things. And that's absolutely exhausting. And Megan, you're right. There was also another sort of horrific trend where, like, every musician that's trying to make it moves to New York, LA, or Nashville. 3 cities where it's really, really expensive. It's really hard to cut through the noise.
Saturated, right? Yep.
I mean, any artist that calls me from, like, Iowa and they're like, what should I do? And please do not move. Like, become huge where you are.
Yep.
Make that be a problem, So we just have it all wrong. Like, I'm born and raised in New York City and I can't go anywhere else because I don't know where I'd go. But, like, I just see so many young people that are from here, not from here, moving here. And they're like, oh my God, my apartment's $4,000 a month. That doesn't foster creativity at all.
Well, and two, like, just going back to, like, for like actors and stuff, right? Like they don't even get to go in person anymore in audition. They're only self-taping. And usually they're not even making a selection on a self-tape. They're going to their social handles to see how many followers they have. And it's like, oh, if you don't have this many, like, you're not even casted. Right. So, like, that's where I think you and we all feel the same. Like, what happens to the art? What happens to the Renaissance? Like, we lose that if we can't let it's just based on these, like, and they're not even real. We know this. There's bots out there. Like, it is not. So, like, how do we create real? And I think and I think we all are saying it. It is community. There's still something about being, like, in real life, in concert, in community of the things that you share, like, with your nerds, or your niche group. Like, I think that's still important and it's still there. We just don't have that. And I think, like, the older millennials and up, like, we had local for a little while. Like, we had a taste of it, like cable. Right. And, like, but the younger generation has really never had that. So how do we get them off the phones and hanging out with each other and having relationships and helping that mental health piece? I think that some of this we can solve that by just being together in real life.
Yeah, that's perfectly said. And actually, I think that takes us to, I have about 400 more questions, but I'll go with one because I again, want to be aware of everyone's time. First of all, I want to say thank you, all 3 of you. This is why Slam will succeed, because I'm smart enough to surround myself and talk to people who are smarter than me and who are bringing these innovations and these brilliant thoughts. I will say, all right, I'm going to say 2 things, and I'm going to really STF you and let this conversation end. So, this is something that has come up. We actually had on Danny Cutler, who's the scene mom in Massachusetts, and George Hrob, who's a brilliant independent artist based out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, who makes his living as a musician. And this is something we've really talked about. So many musicians feel like, if I don't have 4 cars, 4 Lamborghinis in a mansion, I'm a failure as a musician. So I think we've got to redefine success. That's just me putting that out there. That's something that has come up again and again. I really feel like we need to educate. So my final question, or the final question I'm going to actually ask, because I have many more. What are some of the cultural changes that are really what do we need to push that we can push? Like, some people say, like, take down Spotify. Oh, okay, it's not going to happen. So what can the 4 of us and the people watching, what can we actually come together to actually do? What kind of social changes can we do? Sorry, that was a lot. Yeah.
I can go first. I'll just go first because my background's in technology. So I think in this era of new tech and what's happening with AI and blockchain and crypto, all that, it's complicated. I think it's important to just remember who's behind it. And, like, so whoever's going to build it is going to be an exact result of what comes out in the next era of this technology. And so I believe if we have people like us who care about the things like mental health and making sure we create jobs and, you know, prosperity for our communities, we could create that. Technology actually does allow us to do that. It just depends on who wants to be in the center, right? And I think will be a yin and the yang to both of that. But that's why I see the trends that we have this moment in time where it is transitioning, and who's going to be the leaders in that, and who's going to create the communities that people want to be in. And I think that's on the upside of that. That's where I see tech heading.
I love
Wonderful.
that. I really want that to be true, Megan. Like, yeah,
Tech takes time to build, Ariel. That's all.
I'm always just so curious. It's like, how much do we put up with until we're like, okay, like I'm not good. Like, you know, Spotify is advertising for ICE. They are recruiting for ICE on Spotify. That is the advertising that you will hear if you do not pay for Spotify. Daniel Ek took $600+ million and invested it in war bots, like technology that will actually go and kill people. Like, at what point do you go, I'm not okay with that? At what point do you say, I don't care that it's the largest platform in the world, I can't participate? You know, or like, you know, what's the justice? We're like, okay, well, I'll only put the side of my face on my Facebook so they can't like scan my whole face. I don't know. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I hope you're right. And I definitely, like, my antidote has been like, yes, it's there and it's not so good. It's actually way worse than not so good. But what can we do to feel connected and to feel good and to create a mini connected experience that feels great, and then build on that? Like, that is always my question, because they always come into the room with all that. Like, that's where they all have a Meta account with running ads. Like,
yeah. It's the collective. I just feel like, maybe I'm just like woo-woo lady over here, but like the collective moves really well. And we are creators. We are the musicians. We are what makes people happy and excited and want to hang out, right? Like, we collectively can shift this. It's just a matter of having to decide. And I think what you said to start, mindset. You have to decide, like, I am no longer part of that. Now we have to have other systems to catch it, right? Like, but I think that is the first step, to realize that, like, this is just not good for me. And let's figure that out. And I really believe that. Like, maybe that's, I said, my optimism of this, but I'm in behind the scenes in the technology side, and I see what this can do in like such a good way, and such like ownership, copyright, automatic contracts. There's no one messing with that, right? Like, that's what we should have. And then we can just focus on art. And then what happens then? That's what I can't wait for. Like, what do we get, right? We're talking about these artists. Like, we get to like have them come out of this instead of being pushed down inside of it. So I'll leave that with that. We have a shot.
I love it. I'll say one. I know I apologize. I'm going to add more. But I think, you know, you look at Woodstock in the 90s, we had that one that was just this beautiful event. And then kind of all the chodes heard about it and went and turned the next one into a riot and a mess and a disgusting mess. A bunch of us were on Twitter. Like, I know a couple of us were like the first 100, 200 people on Twitter. And look what that became. It became a nightmare, you know, and I think so we need to figure out, I don't have the answer, but we need to figure out a fail safe. So how we can keep these things that are cool and nerdy and community and full of love and excitement and future thought, and protect it against.
Facebook used to be that too. Remember, I was the first group on Facebook because I was in college, and it was like where you found the beer and the parties, and like that was it. That's all you used it for. You didn't use it for. You didn't need to there was no ads. It was just like, hey, where's the free stuff, right? Like, so I think it was there.
Yeah.
We've had a glimmer of it. It just turned into something else because who's in the middle of it?
So what I'm hearing from all of that is something that I stopped going to see concerts at the big venues, the stadiums. I don't go see anybody there anymore. They're not fun. but I'll go see, hands down, anybody in a little bitty club all night long. It could be 5 of us in there. It could be, 500, whatever. But those little bitty clubs, that's where I feel like you really get that connection, and I can feel if the artist is in it for the creativity or just those, just the moment to get the viral moment. So that's my 2 cents.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Megan Matousek of Loco Plus. Definitely really, really exciting thing that's going on. Thank you so much for joining us today. Ariel Hyatt, pardon me, of CyberPR. Thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, Dr. Sheila, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a fantastic conversation. I really hope we can, we can take this and make this a launch. This conversation can be a launch from here. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for watching, everyone out there. And we'll do this again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.